Welcome to the Twist News. I'm Erika Grey. We're seeing some really frightening headlines concerning the heat. It's been stated in the news that July is the hottest month on record, but this is only the beginning of headlines that are literally shocking. It was stated in Yahoo News that July has been so hot thus far that scientists calculate that this month will be the hottest globally on record and likely the warmest human civilization has seen. And the EU Observer reported that July hasn't been hotter in 120,000 years. So these are some very frightening headlines, and there's more of them, but I'm not going to repeat all of them. But I thought that I would do something a little bit different on this show because my start is really as an eschatologist, and this is literally right out of the book of Revelation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Revelation because the book of Revelation was written in AD 90. It is a Christian book, but it is also considered a shocking, because most people don't know that, because it contains a lot of apocalyptic writings. So the book of Revelation, written in AD 90 by John when he was banished to the island of Patmos. Some say he was banished under Domitian, others Nero. I favor that John was most likely banished under Nero. So this is literally four horsemen of the apocalypse stuff, as well as one of the bowl judgments of the Revelation. And I'm going to read you this. Now, so you might say, well, it was so hot, and it's so hot in Rome and in the Roman Empire at that time that somebody probably thought and put this down as fiction and imagined a sun that would, let's look at what the Revelation says. Revelation 16, verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God. It's interesting that this great heat and fire means that what we're seeing now is the beginning of what is this. And what is interesting about what's happening now in the weather patterns is that when you read the Revelation plagues, you could see that this unabated could lead to the Revelation plagues. You have the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which is written of in Revelation 6. And in Revelation 6, verses 5 and 6, you have what is described as the coming great famine. And the great famine that is going to come onto the earth. And it's depicted in the black horse, and his rider is holding a pair of scales. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the four living creatures saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. These weather patterns that we're seeing now are going to eventually lead to a great famine. But according to the Revelation, we've also got the plague of the scorching sun, and that will literally also burn with fire. So just possibly burn men. It will be so hot that you'll burn in that sun in like no time. And that's what I'm assuming is meant by the verse, the portion of the verse that says, scorched with great heat, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. That's pretty wild stuff that this was written in AD 90, and now we're in a pattern where we're literally could see that that could possibly be the future. So you say, well, but it's global warming, and the nations are doing a lot of things to combat global warming, and the scientists are saying this. I have a really hard time with the scientists, because how can you measure? It's theoretical. How could you measure through the years? They're not even certain on the origins of the Earth. And even the climate change data, I mean, you can't measure the Earth. You can't measure the oceans. You can't theoretically come up with an exact to now measure what's happening. And then the whole thing with climate change doesn't even make any sense, because I can understand it contributing to pollution or to certain things, but not to the dramatic weather that we are seeing, and sinkholes that were taking place just are all over the globe that at one time weren't taking place, and just so many different phenomena. So I just wanted to point out on this particular broadcast the interesting similarities to the Revelation, and that in AD 90 there was something that was known, and it's written in the book. So I just wanted to point this out, the similarities to the Revelation, the apocalyptic weather, and climate change. Well, according to the Revelation, guess what? It's going to continue to get worse until the finale. So if you think the Bible is fiction, you might want to think again. And if you don't subscribe to The Twist, please subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for more.